Greetings, fellow humans. You know me as Iceman Caesar, and this is what's up in the world today. Going to be running through a preview for tonight's WWE Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, then finishing off with a few random WWE thoughts at the end. So let's get right into the preview. Tonight's show is coming from Viva Las Vegas, but they've actually been having trouble selling tickets to this show. I was kind of surprised, but reports say they were only at half capacity about a week ago, and all this week we've been hearing that they've been having a lot of trouble moving the rest of the tickets. So on one hand, it kind of surprised me. I didn't really expect to hear that they'd be having that much trouble moving tickets. But on the other hand, when you break it down and look at things, might not be that much of a surprise because Vegas is full of adult fight fans. Like it's the adults that are in Vegas, and if you're not on the radar in Vegas, you are not on the radar with fight fans or like adults or anything like that. And I know that wrestling is geared more towards kids, and that's one of the biggest demographics, and that's how you really build your company and your brand. You entertain people as kids, and then as they grow older, they stick with you. And they have those moments from when they were kids that they look back on when they're adults, and that helps create the connection to the product. But right now, too much of the product is just geared only towards kids. It's stuff that only kids can enjoy. And you look at Disney; they built themselves off of making things that were for kids, but that adults could also enjoy. Because kids are easy to entertain. It's not hard to make a kid laugh. It's not hard to make a kid cheer for someone. Like, kids are easy. But then that's why it's frustrating sometimes that WWE creates stuff that only kids can enjoy. It's like adults can't. You just can't enjoy it as an adult because it's just too ridiculous and too silly and just too goofy. It's just too much for kids. And I get that wrestling is not just for adults, but wrestling is for everybody. And wrestling at its best is when you can find that middle ground where adults can be entertained and kids can be entertained. But you got to remember that kids are easy to entertain. Like, it's not hard to make a kid laugh, but it's harder to entertain adults. It's harder to make adults laugh, but you can find that middle ground. And when you find that middle ground, you won't have trouble selling tickets in places like Vegas, because adult fight fans will want to come out to the show. They'll want to bring their kids. The kids will be excited for the show, and it'll just be a great atmosphere of like all ages. And that's what the best wrestling is, and that's what the best WWE is. And so it's just, on one hand, I didn't really expect them to 2 chamber matches, and the match quality is very high in WWE lately, but it's just maybe the storylines or the direction or whatever is not where it needs to be. But I didn't really expect ticket sales to be as slow as they are. However, if you break things down, it kind of makes sense, because as good as the matches are, if the story bringing you there is not good, or the presentation of the product doesn't get you into the moment, then it's not going to hit at the level that it needs to. So I think it's definitely concerning for WWE to realize that they can't sell tickets to adult fight fans in Las Vegas. And even though WWE sports entertainment, variety show, whatever you want to call it, it's still entertainment combat. Like, fight, it's still a fighting in a sense. It's still a fight, even though the outcome is predetermined. The action is very real, and even the environment. Once you step through that curtain and you walk to the ring and you're your character, that's real. And some people don't really understand how it's real. But that's a whole nother video for another day. But it's just like, but WWE just needs to, I think, get back to trying to create stuff that everybody can enjoy instead of just kids. Because marketing to kids is important. That's how you build things and build a relationship. But at the same time, you just have to be able to entertain everybody. And I think when you find that middle ground, you'll be able, you won't run into problems about selling tickets to a big pay-per-view in a fight city like Las Vegas. So I just wanted to address that before we get into the matches. So let's get into the card. First match we'll talk about is the men's Elimination Chamber match. Then this one is for a chance to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania for the Universal Championship. And we got The Miz, who is going to enter first, and we got Elias, who is going to enter last. And The Miz is kind of at an interesting place right now. He's really putting in some of the best work of his career, and he's really good in the ring right now. He's always been amazing on the microphone. It just seems like he's really putting everything together. His fan supports, people really seem to be giving him more respect, I've found, amongst the fans. And it just seems like he's at that place where he's not he's not at in the place where they're going to push him to be the guy, or he's not the stories aren't dictating that he's going to be into a big championship match. He's the Intercontinental Champion, so like he has done what he says he's done. He has elevated the Intercontinental title for sure, and so whatever match that he's in at WrestleMania will be one of the bigger ones. But he's kind of in a position to where he could move up and put himself at that main event level. Like with the stars, like this John Cena and Roman Reigns, but at the same time, it might not be exactly the right time for it. So Miz is in an interesting position right now. I'm really intrigued to kind of see what direction they push him in towards WrestleMania, and I'm hoping that he has a good show in the Elimination Chamber here to kind of keep the momentum going with everything that seems to be the momentum he seems to be building right now. Elias, talk about in NXT. When I was watching him do his thing in NXT, I was kind of getting the mindset of I just really hope that he catches on the main roster and gets some kind of role. I mean, I wasn't exactly too optimistic, but man, has he come up and just crushed every single pitch they've thrown him, and he just keeps improving and getting better and better and better, and it's really entertaining to watch him, whether you're booing him or cheering him, and he's really getting good with his guitar picking. I love a good guitar picking session, and he's really getting good with that. He's getting good at making these little songs, getting the crowd riled up. So, and WWE Walk with Elias, that never crossed my mind until it came out of his mouth. So I think that's a really great gimmick for him to go with. I think he'll be able to do a lot with it. And coming in last in the chamber, it could be pretty entertaining with him and his guitar in there. So it's I can't see them putting Elias in that spot yet, but I think this is still going to be a good showing for him, and he'll have a lot of chance to entertain and be in the chamber the entire time. So, and next competitor in there, Finn Balor, who's also building a lot of momentum lately. It was rumored that he was one of the opponents for Brock Lesnar last year, but that didn't materialize. So that's the thing. There's still a bigger chance than normal that Finn Balor could walk out of the chamber with the title shot. His run in WWE's kind of been up and down. The first Universal Champion, unfortunately, he had the bad injury, and then coming back from injury never seemed to really gain that momentum. Whether it was he's still figuring things out, or whether WWE was a little gun shy to get behind him, but he really seems to be building that momentum back up now. I've noticed amongst the fans that his fan base seems to be really getting riled up again and pushing him towards the top. So his momentum is on the upward swing, and he's fantastic in the ring, great on the microphone. So he's just kind of waiting for that next opportunity to take that next chance to elevate himself. And I'm 100% confident that when they give him the chance, he will deliver. But I'm not sure it's going to happen here. I think there's a few better directions they could go, but it's definitely one of the guys that has a big chance to walk out of the chamber with the title shot. John Cena, big match. John could show up on any night, so it doesn't matter how many losses Cena has taken lately. He has always a chance to win. But I gotta kind of take a side and really just kind of thank and give an appreciation to John Cena for giving back to the WWE, and because he has taken a lot of pinfall losses lately, but it's helping guys. It helped Dean Ambrose when he took the loss back when SmackDown Live was first starting. It probably could have and should have been a bigger moment on pay-per-view, but still, that was a great moment to establish Dean Ambrose. Put over Seth Rollins on Raw, and put over Roman Reigns. It's like John Cena still, with his conditioning and how he's taking care of his body, you could still say he's relatively young, and he still's got a lot of gas left in the tank, so he could easily put his feet down and just be difficult about putting guys over. But clearly he's embracing his role of still that main event guy that can that's going to sell tickets, that's going to get in the big matches and try and win that 17th world title. But at the same time, he recognizes that with for everything they put into building him up, now he's going to give that back, and it'd be a very shame and almost a crime for him to leave wrestling and not give back like that. So it's really great to see that John Cena is not just being selfish and focusing on himself, is really really looking to help give back to WWE and build up more guys so they can create more John Cenas, because they definitely need as many John Cena's as they can get in 2018. And the next competitor that talk about Seth Rollins. I don't think anybody has more momentum than Seth right now after that amazing performance in the Gauntlet match on Raw. It was just it just establishes what everyone knows Seth Rollins is, one of the absolute best wrestlers in the business, and he's really become one of those guys that you can go to and put in any main event, in any spot, and he'll deliver a great match. So he's getting into that level, into that special level, and he was right about to hit it when he got injured a few years ago, and I think it's taken him some time, to get his confidence, to get his, to get conditioning, just to get himself back to where he was. But seems like now he's right there, and just I really hope he's taking as much care of his body, not pushing himself too hard, just doing the right things, because he's at a point right now where he could really put himself up and become another one of those guys that could be a next John Cena, and WWE desperately needs him right now. So really looking forward to seeing what kind of a performance Seth Rollins puts out at Elimination Chamber. And with the momentum he built off of the Gauntlet match, could easily take the title shot into WrestleMania. But however, talking about everyone, I think this Elimination Chamber really comes down to only two guys, and that's Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. All the rumors say it's Roman's match to lose. He's got the shot with Brock at WrestleMania, but I can't say this more forcefully. I just really hope that somebody close to Vince McMahon makes Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman at WrestleMania a hill that they die on, because timing is everything in wrestling, and the time is now for to make Braun Strowman into a big star, especially with what happened between him and Brock in their match in the Royal Rumble. Watching that match, Braun started off I think he hit a drop kick, and then he hit a couple knees, and right before Brock threw that live round back at him, I was thinking in my head, holy crap, what is into Braun? He is absolutely bringing it. And right after that, I thought that Brock had to kind of square up and give him a live round to let him know that, hey, this is wrestling. If you're gonna take this, you're gonna cross the line, then this is going down. So that was a really cool moment, and that moment is something that I don't think they capitalized on at all coming off the Royal Rumble, and it's something that cannot be wasted, because I saw people sharing the gifs of the big knee Braun hit Brock with, and then followed up by the punch that Brock gave him. I saw people sharing those on places that don't like wrestling, they don't talk about wrestling, they don't watch wrestling. But those gifts were interesting enough to where people posted them, and they had titles like Pro Wrestling Match Gets Real, Brock Lesnar throws real punch in wrestling match, and it's just so fascinating for not only wrestling fans but for everybody outside of wrestling, that when something that is perceived as real happens in an environment that people perceive as fake or predetermined, when that realness happens, man, it's something special, and people gravitate towards it. You can't help but want to watch and see what happened and what went down. So that is something. They have lightning in a bottle right now, and they have to capitalize it. They have to use it. You don't get these chances every day. Sometimes you don't even get more than one. Sometimes you only get this one chance, and they still have a chance to build off of what they created at the Royal Rumble, even though they haven't really done it at all leading up to now. But it's just, if you build this feud off of that moment, it is something real in an environment that is perceived as fake, and it will draw in the mainstream eyes. It will make people, if Brock Lesnar and Braun are standing there telling each other, I am not scared of you at all, and if this needs to cross the line, I will still kick your ass. And both of those, nobody's going to look at Braun Strowman and think, man, he doesn't have a chance against Brock. I mean, this is a guy that people could actually think that might be able to take Brock down, so it's going to draw even more the fight fans, adult fight fans. They are going to be all over Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman, and you just build it up off of that moment at the Royal Rumble. And my idea, I would even throw in another factor in it. You got Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. I would do everything I can to convince Vince McMahon to go on to be at Braun Strowman's side. So you got Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, and you got Braun Strowman and Vince McMahon. How fun would the TVs be building up to WrestleMania, seeing Paul Heyman and Vince McMahon, clashing with each other? And how much would it do for Braun's career to have Vince McMahon, doing the big sell and, just lifting him up as high as he can and endorsing him and being there and, walking into the match, right at his side and staying at ringside for it. And then then the last picture you see of WrestleMania is both Braun Strowman and Vince McMahon, arms held high with the title, and they can both do the rah! It's just that moment to me would make another mega superstar in Braun Strowman, because standing in the middle of the ring after he beat Brock Lesnar, holding the Universal Championship in the air, Vince McMahon at his side, raising his arms, just doesn't get a bigger moment like that. And I just don't. Timing is everything in wrestling, and I just don't think that they should waste this opportunity they have with Braun Strowman. He's everything that you want. He's tall, he's muscular, he can wrestle, he can talk, he can do serious, he can do comedy. He's everything that you'd want in a superstar and a guy you'd want to push up to that level. And that's the thing. In 2018, you don't need one John Cena. You need 5 John Cenas. There's so much content. There's so much reach at WWE. It's one guy can't carry it all. You need 5 John Cenas. And Roman Reigns is a John Cena now. He's built. He's done this. You made Roman look strong. He's on the level of Cena and Taker and everything. But you have to try and create more than it can't just be Roman Reigns. You have to be able to have 2 or 3 guys that can be up there with him and help to sell the shows and help to move tickets and help to make the stories and matches good. And so this is a chance to elevate another guy to that same, that John Cena level status. So you'd have Roman and Braun, and you'd have Brock and John Cena, and then you can work on bringing up some of these other guys to that level. So you have more, and I just think this is too great of an opportunity to waste, and I just really hope that someone close to Vince McMahon makes this a hill that they die on. You will not be let down. If Vince McMahon says, "Okay, let's do it and see if you're right," Braun Strowman will not let you down. He will deliver in the match. He will deliver in the build-up. He will deliver carrying the title. And I just think there's so much you can do with Braun after he wins the title that if you make this a hill that you want to die on, you will not be let down. You will not, Braun will deliver for you. I know that. I believe in that 100%. And it's too great of an opportunity, and it's to see it wasted. I don't know if you'll have another opportunity like this to put Braun at that level. So I really hope that somebody fights for Braun and they go through with it, because this is a moment that needs to be Braun Strowman going to WrestleMania with the title shot. And it could really help the Universal title too. Give it a moment to really give it a story and a run to establish it as a title people want to have as their own accomplishment. So now, but I know that the plans were Brock versus Roman. So if you're going to change to Braun versus Brock, what do you do with Roman? Well, I would use Roman to fix another problem that I think that they're going to have with a match that has been rumored for WrestleMania. And so rumored for WrestleMania is that The Undertaker is going to come back and he's going to start something with John Cena and they're going to wrestle at WrestleMania. And I just think that is a really, really bad idea, because on one hand, the way The Undertaker went out last year at WrestleMania 33 was just almost perfect, because even though the match was not good and it was a lot of botches, it kind of fit with the story that they were kind of telling with The Undertaker. He had fought for every single fight, never backed down. He'd fought for so long that he got to the point where his body had just finally broke down, and he was never going to quit. He's never going to surrender. He went out. He absolutely made Roman Reigns put him out on his Shield, but. I just think that the way the match went and with how it didn't flow perfectly and there were some mistakes, I just think it worked with the kind of story. And when you watch that match, it really would look like The Undertaker's last match. It's like he just had trouble doing certain things, and it would kind of make sense that that's the match that would end the career. And even though I don't want The Undertaker to retire. I mean, I'd love to give him the fountain of youth and have him come back, wrestle every WrestleMania for WrestleMania 50. But fortunately, that's not reality, and we have to say goodbye to The Undertaker at some point. And I just thought WrestleMania 33 was a really perfect way to do it, especially if you're gonna try and build up Roman Reigns. But But I just because it would kind of Undertaker coming back would ruin that moment at the end of WrestleMania 33. It's one of the reasons I think it's a bad idea. But the main reason I think it's a bad idea is that you spent the last year, building up three main things for Roman Reigns. That he retired the Undertaker, he's the big dog now, and it's his yard. And so, okay, that's what you built Roman Reigns around for the last year. But if The Undertaker comes back and faces not only to wrestle again, but somebody else that isn't Roman Reigns, so you're taking all credibility from Reigns and making everything that you built around him this year false. Because if Taker comes back and faces Cena, Roman Reigns did not retire The Undertaker, and he's clearly not the big dog, and it's not his yard now because the big dog is back and he's running the show in his yard again. So it's like, I just think that Taker coming back and facing Cena would really, really hurt Roman Reigns' credibility, and it would just nullify what they're trying to do in the main event, putting him over Brock, because he'd lose all his credibility in the matches leading up to it. And with The Undertaker coming back, I just think that one-on-one Taker and Cena is a really bad idea, because I don't think it helps anyone. I think it hurts more people than it helps. But I think you could turn that into a positive if you add Roman Reigns to it and make it a triple threat. Now that would be my idea. I would make it Taker versus Cena versus Reigns, but I would add a special stipulation to it. I would make it that Undertaker could pin either John Cena or Roman Reigns, but Cena and Reigns could only pin Undertaker, not each other. So I think that would kind of create a really interesting dynamic, and it would create multiple dynamics in the match, because on one hand, it would almost make Undertaker a sympathetic, underdog, because in a sense it would almost be a 2-on-1 situation, because Cena and Reigns couldn't pin each other. They'd be focused on trying to beat down the Undertaker and get him incapacitated to where they could take care of one of the other, and whoever's left standing would just pick the bones of the Undertaker and get the win. So in that sense, it almost kind of get fans to be behind the Undertaker, because it's like I say, he's almost a sympathetic underdog, and to make the Undertaker a sympathetic underdog at this point in his career would be a pretty huge feat, I think. But I think it would create a really cool dynamic of the fans really getting behind Undertaker and the near falls that he tries to get. And I also think it opens up a lot of for the outcomes of the match. I think there's much better opportunity coming out of the match with in the triple threat as if it was a singles, because if it's a triple threat, then there's so many ways you can go. You could have John Cena pin The Undertaker, and that way there's now three people that can say they beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania: Brock, Cena, and Reigns, and all three are active in WWE. So going after WrestleMania, you could do stories with all three or just two of them. You could do a triple threat at WrestleMania 35 between the three people that have beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Like, I think there's lots of story, lots of ways, good directions you could go coming off of John Cena pinning The Undertaker. You could have Roman Reigns pin The Undertaker, and that would make him the only man that could say not only did he beat The Undertaker at one WrestleMania, but he beat The Undertaker at 2 WrestleManias. And so, I mean, beating The Undertaker twice at WrestleMania would be a feat that I don't think anybody would be able to touch, and it would really establish Roman Reigns even more so than they probably already want to. So that's another option they could go. They could also have The Undertaker pin Roman Reigns, and that would even their series up. Roman beat him at 1 WrestleMania, Taker beat him at 1. Now there's a chance to do a big rubber match at WrestleMania 35. If Taker if the hip surgery really put Taker in a good place, and he thinks he can do a couple more matches, then Taker beats Reigns at WrestleMania, and then you do the big rubber match at WrestleMania 35 with The Undertaker's career officially on the line. He loses, he's done. He can make Reigns. If he loses, he doesn't get a WWE title shot for a whole year, just to create some drama for it. But that's an option. You could have Taker pin Reigns. The only option I don't think would be good is to have The Undertaker pin John Cena, because really at this point Undertaker is down to his last 1 or 2 matches, And, John Cena still has lots of gas left in the tank, so it wouldn't make sense for him to take a loss at this point in time to The Undertaker at WrestleMania. So that's the only option. I don't think it would be a good one. But I think the triple threat opens up, 3 really interesting match outcomes that would be, either one you choose would be good in any direction you go. So, that's why I think it just makes sense to change from Braun and Brock and Taker, Cena, Reigns in a triple threat with that special stipulation. Because I really think that Taker, Cena 1-on-1 would really hurt Roman Reigns in the long run. And I would just love to see if when the Undertaker comes out to confront John Cena, Roman Reigns' music immediately hits. He walks right up to the Undertaker, gets right in his face, and just says, "What part of this is my yard now did you not understand?" And, the Undertaker's not going to take that disrespect. Doesn't say one word, just immediately starts throwing bones at Roman, and Cena tries to break it up, but, he starts taking shots, and then they all start going, and I think that could really kick things off and, get this triple threat kind of started, this triple threat story started on a really hot note. With a big confrontation between the 3 of them. But I just think that a 1-on-1 between Taker Cena is a really bad idea, and that a triple threat opens up the most exciting possibilities for not only for WrestleMania but for going forward for all 3 guys. So that's kind of the thought, my whole thoughts on the men's elimination chamber. I really hope that somebody goes to bat for Braun Strowman and doesn't back down, because you won't regret it. Braun won't let you down, and he could really push WWE into a really good place for 2018. So I'm really hoping that Braun Strowman walks out of the chamber with the title shot tonight. Moving on to the second Elimination Chamber match of the night. This is going to be the first ever Women's Elimination Chamber, and this one is going to be for Alexa Bliss's Raw Women's Championship. And for the champion to retain, she is going to have to go coast to coast, survive the entire chamber, whatever order she comes in. She's going to have to be there at the end and be able to get the pinfall at the end. And it's going to be a tough night for Alexa, but she has definitely proven she can pull it off. And I think this is a really good chance to give her title reign a really, establish it with a serious moment, because she's had a good run, but I think, this would be a really great moment for it, to have her have a good showing, not just fluke her way through the chamber, actually, do some damage and, get some of the victories herself. And because, the rumors say that, she's probably going to be handing the ball off to somebody else at WrestleMania. Rumors that it's Nia Jax. So, it looks like this title run is going to be coming to an end. And I just think it would be a good time to give her title run a serious moment to establish it. And at the same time, give her some credibility to fall back on when she loses the title, and, still has to contribute. Still has to be able to contribute as a top level star. So a big win in the Elimination Chamber match tonight could do it. Could really do it, especially her being the champion, having to go coast to coast. So, however, there is a lot of time in between now and WrestleMania. So even if the plans are Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax at WrestleMania, they could still change it up and have Alexa lose it and then win it back lose it here and win it back before WrestleMania. So. I don't think it's a guarantee that Alexa Bliss wins this match, and every single woman in the match has a chance to walk out with the title. Sasha Banks, it seems like she's been, flirting with that, going to that heel roll, and it's driving me nuts because they just won't pull the trigger on it. And Sasha Banks is such a great heel. She's so much fun to boo and root against, and her and Bayley are just their rivalry is the best when Sasha is a heel and Bayley is the babyface. So that could be a really, really hot, strong story to go with in 2018. But giving Sasha a victory in the first Elimination Chamber match could put a little bit more fuel to that fire for that heel turn. But Sasha Banks is definitely gonna have a good showing in this match. Hopefully she doesn't push herself too far, because the Elimination Chamber matches are very brutal and very dangerous. But it's gonna be she's definitely gonna leave her best out there in the chamber. So I'm looking forward to it. Sonya Deville, I think she's going to have a good breakout match here. This environment with the cage and the chains and kind of having it be in almost an octagon style, I think she is just going to thrive in this environment. This seems like home for her character, you know. Like I'm really hoping to see her have some kind of, you know, like brutal offense, or, you know, just really look like she's enjoying herself in the chamber. You know, it's almost like, yeah, like I'm at home. This is where I belong. And it's just with her type of character, I think that's exactly how she should respond to the chamber. I'm looking for her to have a good performance tonight. Mickie James still absolutely rocking it and coming into the Elimination Chamber, and could be the veteran that steals the title walking into WrestleMania. And I'm really happy to see Mickie James really getting into her groove lately, because you see, when she came back, it seemed like, you know, that she'd been gone for a long time, so the connection with the fans, it was a little bit frayed, but, you know, she's really worked hard and, you know, kept working on her and kind of embraced this new, like, veteran, but still gonna kick your ass, and, you know, still has lots of gas left in the tank. So it's been really fun to watch Mickie James kind of, you know, keep getting better and just, you know, keep improving it. I mean, she's a veteran. She could easily rest on her laurels and what she's done in the business. But, you know, I've really noticed that she's kind of, it seems like she's put a lot of effort into just, you know, embracing this new character that she's getting into, and, you know, her ring work is always at the top level. And so it's just awesome to see Mickie James. Awesome to see Mickie James contributing at the level she is, and, you know, she is probably a dark horse candidate to win the title. But, you know, with her run that she's been putting in lately, definitely has a chance to walk out with the title. Even though she might not get to WrestleMania, I could still see her getting this big moment. And moving on to another competitor, Mandy Rose. It seems like she is any day now she's going to have, you know, that really big moment and really get that push up to the next level. And I think she is absolutely deserving of it and ready for it. You know, I notice her getting better in the ring all the time. She always adds the little things into her match that, you know, help the match and the character. You know, her strength really enables her to pull off a cool finishing move, the angel wings. That's that's perfect. You know, you got to keep her strength up and be mindful, because it can be a dangerous move, but really looks awesome and impactful. And, you know, she's built her physique up to the point where she can hit that every time clean. So she's right close to getting that opportunity that pushes her to the next level. I'm looking for her to have a good showing in the Elimination Chamber tonight. You know, it might not be the time for her to win it, but, you know, a good showing and getting a couple victories could really go a long way to getting her ready for that push to the next level, which she's right there and right ready for it. And it's just, I'm really looking forward to see how she performs in the chamber tonight. And last but not least, Bayley. You know, I hate every time it seems like get my hopes up for her to have a big moment. It always gets, you know, come crashing down. And I gotta admit, I even got suckered into to the near fall when she had her match with Asuka a few weeks ago on Raw. When she was in the chicken wing and kind of rolled back into the pinfall like Bret Hart used to do. I hook, line, and sinker. I thought that was over. I reacted to the three like she was gonna get it. I thought that, you know, they were gonna have Asuka's streak end in kind of that would have been a cool way to end the streak. You know, Bayley's certainly a character that could do it, and, you know, it would have made it seem more real to have, you know, somebody kind of just roll up on her and just catch her, because, you know, it's hard to be, undefeated in wrestling, so it's, to go that long and not be caught in a pinfall or not make a mistake. So it's still, you know, as much as I think I know about wrestling, I still got suckered in 100% to that near fall, which is awesome. Like, moments are that, or why I love wrestling and why I watch wrestling. And, you know, like, if you're willing to suspend belief, you can get those moments where, you know, you're right in there, and it's, you know, you're living and dying with that near fall. So that was a cool moment. But, you know, Bayley always has a chance. She always has a chance to, you know, to win the title or to win it at a big moment, because she's just one of the best women's wrestlers of all time. She's got such a connection with the crowd. I mean, I gotta shout out the little video that I saw everyone sharing with the family, where the man had his daughters kind of. A few of the daughters pretended to be Bayley buddies, and one of the girls pretended to be Bayley coming out for her entrance, and that was just one of the cutest things I've ever seen, one of the greatest videos. And that is why wrestling is so great. That's why we all love it so much, because it creates moments like that and creates heroes for kids, and, you know, it just creates when you get to dress up as your hero, it's just such a great thing. It's just so much happiness and joy, and just it was just such a great video, and that is why Bayley is such a great character, and why everyone loves her so much, and why everyone wants her to be, to be pushed to the highest level possible, because she could be that John Cena. She's got that connection with the kids in the crowd to where, they want to dress up like her, they want to be like her, they want to, they want to hug her, they want to watch her wrestle, they want to buy, this Bayley is one of those genuine characters. She's got that genuine energy that people gravitate towards, and so she's always a candidate to win the title, or to always a candidate to do something special. But every time I get my hopes up, it seems to the rug gets pulled out for me. So I'm not getting my hopes up here. But Bayley always delivers. Bayley always gives 100%. She always leaves it all in the ring. So I know that Bayley's performance is going to be one of the reasons that this Elimination Chamber match is really great. I have no doubt these women are gonna absolutely crush it. I mean, I'm not as excited for this as I was for the Women's Royal Rumble, but that's because I'm just not a big fan of the Elimination Chamber in general. It does create some pretty intense stuff and a cool dynamic with the pods opening and stuff, but I just don't need to see wrestlers free falling onto steel, because wrestling is dangerous enough. There's enough wear and tear, but the matches are usually really fun and intense, and they the chamber creates a good environment. So, I know both matches are going to be awesome, and I'll definitely enjoy them. But not as excited about this one as I was for the Royal Rumble. But still a historic moment, and man, I know these ladies are going to give it 110%. So moving on to the next match, we got the Raw Tag Team titles. It's going to be The Bar taking on Titus Worldwide. That's Titus and Apollo Crews. And now Titus Worldwide has been absolutely awesome lately, and but as much as I want to see them rewarded for their awesomeness and all their hard work, I just don't think it's the time yet. Number one, I think there's still more to build with Titus and Apollo, and at the same time, I think the Bar deserve a lengthier title run. They've had a bunch of title runs that have been short, and they're such an awesome team that I'd really like to see them have, a pretty good run with the belts here, not just give them back right away. It seems like such a long time ago where we were all kind of clamoring for Sheamus and Cesaro to be a team, and Mick Foley didn't want them to be a team, and look. No, I know it was the exact opposite. I mean, I just remember the reaction, even me thinking oh, why are they putting these guys as a tag team? But, tip of the cap to Mick Foley, because wow, I don't know whether it was his idea actually, or that it was just the GM, or if he actually did have influence backstage. But the teaming up of Sheamus and Cesaro has been one of the absolute best moments in the last few years, and it's given us one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Like I said in the Raw video, I think, or the preview for the Royal Rumble, every time I see the Bar, I kind of just start imagining what a match would be like between them and the British Bulldogs, because that would just be so hard hitting and physical, and oh man, that would have just been a match that's off the charts. But I'm a huge fan of the Bar, and I'd love to see them get a lengthier title run here. So as much as Titus Worldwide, I think, have been doing a great job, I think now is not the time to put the tag titles on them. And now moving to the next match, we have Asuka versus Nia Jax. And if Nia Jax wins, she gets added to Asuka's title match at WrestleMania. And man, the undefeated for Asuka is in serious doubt, because Nia Jax is not only a character positioned to be able to break the streak, but she's definitely improving. Got lots of room to grow and improve, but she is improving, adding more offense to her moveset, and she's definitely got excuse me. She's definitely in the position to be able to end the streak, and there'd be a lot of cool story with Nia Jax being added to Asuka's title match and stuff, but at the same time, it looks like they may be wanting to do Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss. They've been building that story with the best friends kind of thing, and eventually that relationship always severs. So it seems like that's where they're going. So they've really created a 50-50 atmosphere with this match. I really I'm really not sure who's going to win here. I mean, Asuka should probably win to carry the streak into WrestleMania, make that moment as big as possible. But on the other hand, Nia Jax getting it done would really throw some question marks into the road to WrestleMania, and it would just mix things up and kind of create a kind of create an unpredictable environment with now Nia's automatically in whatever championship match Asuka chooses. So it's it would create an interesting dynamic, but honestly, I have no clue which way they're going to go, who's going to win. I think it's going to be a really good match. I've heard reports from the house shows that they're really turning it up against each other, and I really hope they're saving their best for tonight, because the rumors are saying that Asuka and Nia Jax are going to be the two women that are going to be leaving WrestleMania with the titles. So if that happens, that's true. They definitely need to deliver here and step up to show everyone that they can carry the divisions, the two titles going forward, and that they can deliver the big matches, and that they can be relied on to be put in the big situations. And it starts with a match like this. Like this match, this match needs to be one of the best matches on the card. I don't think they can have a disappointing match tonight, because if they are positioned as the women to win the titles at WrestleMania, they have to establish themselves and prove that they are the women to be in this position. And I am 100%. I am really confident that they're going to be able to pull it off, because Asuka with her offense, I think that mixes right in with Nia Jax being bigger. She can take that offense, and at the same time, she can dish out some very powerful offense to make it seem like Asuka's in real trouble. So I'm really looking forward to this match. I think it's going to be good. I definitely think it's going to be one of the best matches on the show. And now moving to the next match, we got Bray Wyatt versus Matt Hardy. And this match, I really love the broken Matt Hardy, the woken Matt Hardy, the stuff they're doing. I love the whole character with the Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt compound they did and stuff like that. I really love all that, but I really believe this is a feud that should be taking place mostly outside of the ring as opposed to inside of the ring. Now, what I mean by that is that they for this character to, the broken, woken characters to work, they need to create a final deletion video on WWE TV. Because that was the final deletion, that first video that they did, that was the thing that made this character work. Because that was so well done, and they did such a good job with creating that broken universe in that final deletion video. And it made it so easy to buy into that character and everything they were doing. It made it fun. It's just that thing was so well done that it completely made and established the character for the long term. And it's kind of crazy, because when you hear about it and you look at it on paper, it seems like the dumbest thing. It just seems like it would be awful and not work. But Matt Hardy knows what he's doing with this character and this idea, and he absolutely crushed it with the final deletion video and the other videos that they did. But that first initial video was the thing that established it, because it kind of, if you don't have that video, you don't really get it. It's like there's nothing to really sink your teeth into. But when you see the final deletion video, it's like, man, this guy really is broken, and he's living in this broken world, and it's like, what the hell is going on? It's like, so with what they created, it was easy to buy into the character and everything he was doing. And I really believe that for this character to get over, it's not about doing the stupid laugh 1,000 times a show, or it's not having him, talk weird. You gotta create the universe, and that broken universe hasn't been created on WWE TV. And that's one of the reasons why I was excited about them getting the characters. I thought with WWE production, WWE resources, everything they have, they could make this they could just take the final deletion style videos to a whole nother level, and make this something really, really cool and special that starts to draw in people from outside. Like, what in the heck is going on in WWE with this Bray Wyatt, Matt Hardy stuff? And so I just really think they need this is a feud that needs more of those kind of videos, and that needs to be the bulk of the feud, as opposed to having physical interactions in the ring or at the arenas and stuff like that. And it's just that the way with how Matt Hardy did the final deletion video is just that broken universe he created was so well done. It almost reminded me like the land of misfit toys, where the broken toys are the ones that don't work, or are almost kind of like that world when from The Simpsons, when Chief Wiggum was hallucinating. Burns his suit, like that. It almost reminded me of that, or same in The Simpsons where Homer eats the hot pepper and hallucinates and sees the coyote that's Johnny Cash. It's almost like those kind of. It reminded me of those kind of things, to where it's like it's the real world, but weird things are happening, and things that are just like it's just what the. It reminded me of those type of things, and those type of things like. Those Simpsons moments, and it's just those are things that worked in other environments, and Matt Hardy was able to create this broken universe that worked in this environment. That's what it reminded me of. That's why I always thought it was so well done, and that's why I thought it was the thing that made people buy into this character in this universe, because it was so well done. It's so fun to watch, and it's just it's easy to sink your teeth into it when you see it. But the one thing about this broken universe and idea, it was the one, it's a rare idea where when I look at it, I don't immediately have my own ideas to contribute to it. Like normally when I watch TV or movies or wrestling or pretty much anything, I immediately get an idea in my head to either make it better or to help it or to improve it or to fix something, or I just immediately have my own ideas forming in my head to contribute to it. But this broken stuff, I had nothing. I could not think. When I was trying to think of my own ideas to contribute, I had nothing. I couldn't think of anything. And I just didn't understand it enough on a level to create it. I only understood it on a level enough to watch it and enjoy it. And that was really interesting to me, because not too many things put me in that place to where I don't understand it enough to be able to create it, but I do understand it enough to watch it and enjoy it. So, and, like I say, almost everything that I watch, any kind of entertainment, I'm always thinking of my own ideas to contribute. But the broken stuff, I really had nothing. So I was intrigued to kind of sit down and really rack my brain and try and think of something that I could, contribute to this if it ever came up or anything like that. And the one idea I'm gonna put I know that I read Gary Hart's book, and he was giving the advice that don't give your ideas unless anyone pays you for them. But this broken stuff is not something that I would normally create on my own or anything like that. And I really enjoy it. And I want Matt Hardy to succeed with it in WWE. I want to see more of it in those style videos in WWE. So if I can throw something out there and it happens to make its way into the conscience or whatever and help it, that's what I want. But I'm gonna throw my idea out there, because it's really the only one I have, and I thought I was just really intrigued to try and think of something to contribute. So my idea to contribute to this broken thing would be to start bringing in the WWE legends and turning them into his Woken army. So but not bringing the legends in on WWE TV in the ring or backstage or anything like that. Having Matt Hardy track them down and find them in the broken universe, in these little movies or videos. So it's and so the first one I thought of is that Matt Hardy would track down Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan would become Brother Glenn of the Falls, and because Hacksaw is a guy that always comes back for stuff. He seems like he's always down to for fun stuff and cool ideas. And I think Hacksaw is a character that they could really do a lot with in the broken world. And my idea was to have him when Matt Hardy tracks him down, to kind of have him resist him at first, sorry, I'm just a tough guy. Oh! Starts to laugh at the end and kind of, what the hell did just happen? And then, tries to do the ho again, and ho! And this time the laugh starts earlier, and Hacksaw starts getting what the hell is going on? Tries it one more time, and then ho! And can't even get the ho out. It's just that Matt Hardy laugh, and then that's where it starts. Now Brother Glenn of the Falls, instead of doing the ho, when he sticks his middle thumbs up, it's does that weird laugh that Matt Hardy does. And So that would be the first member of the Woken Army. The next one thought of would be Coco Beware, and he would be Brother Be Woken or Coco Be Woken, and for Matt Hardy would track him down and have Coco, whenever he flaps his wings, he kind of delete, so almost like a delete bird or something like that. And I think it'd be a cool. I don't know if Coco's down for doing that kind of stuff, but I think he'd be a cool legend to bring back, and he could have a lot of fun with him in that broken universe. Bringing Michael Hayes in as the Woken Wizard and doing him up all Fantasia style, and I just think there's so much potential, with Michael Hayes' imagination and his style, combine that with the Fantasia kind of stuff, and mix that in with Matt Hardy's broken universe and his broken influence. It's like, man, I just think the possibilities are endless, and they could do so much fun stuff with that. So I think you kind of get where I'm going with the idea, but those are the three legends I kind of just thought about bringing in to start creating Matt Hardy's Woken Army. And that's the thing by using WWE legends, these guys already have fans and following, so people are going to be wanting to put eyes on the product, on what Matt Hardy's doing, to see these guys, and when they make appearances in the arena, it's they'll have more heat from the crowd, and it just gives Matt Hardy more characters and more things to work with in this broken universe to make these broken movies and stuff like that. And I just think I could be way off base. It could be I could have just put the dumbest idea in the world out there, but like I say, I couldn't think of anything to contribute to this broken stuff, and I really wanted to try and think of something. So that was my idea, to have WWE legends kind of make up his Woken Army, and but have them kind of connect with each other in the broken universe on these movies. So that's my idea for Matt Hardy's stuff. I think on the opposite end, Matt Hardy, I think you should be doing lots of those broken movies, but at the same time, I think that you do some really cool stuff with Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt compound, really get old school horror with it, and, really get old school horror, like, Alfred Hitchcock, and, those, just creating suspense. Not necessarily, not using like gore, and obviously you can't use gore, but not like using stuff, like just using little tricks and things to really create suspense and create, get the hair standing up on the back of your neck, get a shiver running down your spine, or just things that creep you out. And I really think that, because Bray Wyatt, as much as Matt Hardy understands his broken universe and his broken character, Bray Wyatt understands the Bray Wyatt character better than anyone. He knows the Wyatt family, and I think he could really make these Wyatt movies into something, really cool that, draws in some of these old school horror fans that would never have anything to do with wrestling, but, they've heard about these videos that's going on WWE TV, and they're actually really cool. And so that's what I mean by if these videos are really well done, they could draw in eyes that wouldn't normally give the WWE product the time of day. So I'm hoping that this is the plan. I'm really looking forward to seeing some of the stuff that they come up with. But that's what I mean. I think these dueling movies kind of things should really be the meat and potatoes of the feud in between, and then they clash and have these conversations at the pay-per-view, or even inside their little movies, like Bray Wyatt comes to the broken universe, or Matt Hardy goes to the Wyatt compound, or it's just I just really think this is a feud that I really think has a potential to be something that's never been done in wrestling. It's something that's like, it's a feud that's taking place in WWE, but at the same time, like, not in the ring, or not like in the arenas. It's like through these movies, and I don't think it's something that fans would feel ripped off, or if they got to see these movies in the arena instead of actually Bray and Matt Hardy. And if you were able to create that with these movies, then the actual live appearances from Bray and Matt Hardy would just be much more special, because you're not seeing these confrontations every week live in front of your face, and because of the content, because of the stories that these movies are building, you want to see them clash based off of what you're seeing in the movie and these little movies and stuff. So I really think that those final deletion Wyatt compound type videos should be the dominating part of this feud, because that's where the money is, and I really feel that's the chance to make this something. That is the chance you have to make this something really special. And but the main thing is, when you're creating this stuff, like Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt have to be the Vince McMahon of creating it. Now I know Vince is always going to have the final say to make sure they don't cross any lines, or make sure they're not going to piss off the sponsors or the fans, or I know Vince has to make sure that they don't cross any lines, but as far as the creation goes, I really think that for this thing to be what it needs to be, they have to let Matt and Bray be the Vince McMahon of creating it. They know these things better than anybody else, so they can put this together better than anyone else. And if I just think if they have the trust and faith in them to do it, then they will. It'll make money for the company. It'll create something for the company that's really special. And it'll do something that's never been done before in WWE, which is what should be the goal, to do positive things that will help increase business that have never been done before, because that's special when you see something done for the first time. It's never as special as when you see it for the first time. So I just really hope that's the direction they're going to go, and they really let Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt just have 100% of control of creating this stuff, because I'm really excited about the possibilities that we have with some of it. And moving on to the last thing for the Elimination Chamber tonight. Last but certainly not least, we got the contract signing for Ronda Rousey. And this is going to be a pretty huge moment. One of the biggest female stars in the world is officially going to be spending her time full time in WWE. So this is definitely a moment to get eyes on it. You don't want to miss. And it's just it's unfortunate that they're having trouble moving tickets in Vegas, because Ronda Rousey was one of those people that did move a lot of tickets in Vegas. Adult fight fans did gravitate towards her move. So obviously they haven't yet done enough with her to bring over those adult fight fans that'll come see her and watch her perform in WWE. So how they present these slow ticket sales have to, it is evidence that they just haven't presented her in the right way properly, and I think that's because they're trying to present her as a babyface, and to me, she is not going to work as a babyface, at least not until she has a really good heel run. And to me, I think she needs to come in as a 1997 DX Shawn Michaels type heel. Who's the showstopper? Me. Who's the icon? Me. As soon as she gets in the ring, get on the mic and make it clear to every single woman that Ronda Rousey lays down for absolutely nobody. That she is here for one reason, to put the spotlight on her. She is here to put the belt around her waist. And if any woman doesn't like it, it doesn't matter, because there's nothing that they can do about it. She basically needs to be what all her haters think that she is. She needs to be this, this bitch coming into WWE that thinks she's better than all the WWE wrestlers, thinks that she's too good for wrestling, that she's the biggest star, that everybody should be bowing down to her. She could kick everybody's ass. It's just the world revolves around her. She's the best, and that nobody can touch her. That's how Shawn Michaels was acting in '97 DX, and that's how I think Ronda's gonna. That's how I feel she'll best get over in WWE. And I think if she starts having that attitude and playing that character, she'll bring in those adult fight fans that want to see. Because it's it'll be fun to watch her do that. And excuse me. Sorry. It's fun to watch her do that, and it would be fun to watch her do that. And you saw a little bit of that come out of her in her sometimes in her post-fight interviews. Sometimes when she'd get all riled up, the energy from the fight and the crowd, and feeling like you just beat someone in a fight, so you feel like you could take over the world. And you could see some of that come out of her, where she'd be like, I don't care which woman's next, I'll kick all their asses, and there's nothing anybody can do about me being the champion. I'm the best, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. Like it or not, I'm the best. And you'd see that sometimes come out in her post-fight interviews, and at the press conferences and before, she'd be a lot more humble and stuff. But that character is in her. You could see it, and I think that is the thing that's gonna allow her to be the best. Just get the best out of her in WWE and bring in the most eyes onto the product to come see her perform, because she's got that energy in her, and it's already what the fans are, how they're treating her and how they think that she's going to be. So you might as well just go with it and try to get the best out of it, because once that is done, once the fans get all that out of her system, and she puts in the time and the effort in this character and puts on great matches and great moments, people will realize they actually, she doesn't think she's better. She actually loves wrestling, and she isn't actually this character she's been playing. She actually is very humble and very willing to work with all the women, and really respects that it's the opposite for her of what she did in MMA. She built the foundation for women's MMA, and other women have come in and been able to build their careers off of that. But now Ronda's doing the exact opposite. All these other women have been scratching and clawing and building the environment to where Ronda can come in and be a big star. And now, Ronda's coming in and building off of what other women have built. So, she definitely knows what it's like to build something from the ground up and see other people benefit off it. And so that's what WWE women are experiencing right now. And also that's how kind of the fans are seeing. They've supported and built up women's wrestling, and now Ronda's coming in from MMA to kind of just now to build herself off of what what the women's wrestlers and the fans have already built. So she just needs to play right into what everyone already thinks she is, and what everyone already thinks she's going to do. So I think being that 1997 Shawn Michaels type of heel, just being as arrogant as she possibly can, and I think that is the best option for her. And I really think that she needs to really grind against not just the wrestling fans and women's wrestling, but I think she needs to go after fight fans as well, because I just think it's completely ridiculous that there are a lot of people that think she's just has no value, and those 2 losses in her career completely invalidated all the destruction that she laid down leading up to that. It's just completely ridiculous, because if you're a real fight fan, it's easy to see why she got into the position she did and taking those 2 losses. She went into the fight with Holly Holm trying to stand up with her and knock her out. Holly Holm's a professional boxer. Ronda Rousey's meat and potatoes is taking people down and ripping their arm off. It's like she just had the complete wrong game plan going into the Holly Holm fight, and it's her. That's the thing. God didn't make her journey have things like her mom waking her up with arm bars for her to knock everyone out. She did knock out a few people. He gave her that, but it just wasn't enough. She kept more and more and more. She always wanted to have that highlight reel knockout. Had to knock out everybody, and that cost her. It cost her everything. She paid the biggest price for it and got absolutely lit up and rocked. And that clearly she was never the same after that, because coming into that second fight, you could tell she's not the same fighter, didn't have that edge, didn't have that same energy to her, and she did the same thing that she did in that Holly Holm fight. Had a completely wrong game plan, tried to go in there and knock her out, and when she should have just taken her down and ripped her arm off like she can do, and took another loss. And so that's why I just laugh when people would act like, she took those 2 losses and now was just a bum that had no value. And it's like, it was just completely ridiculous to me. And it's like, that's the thing. If you look at the facts, when she was only focused on fighting, she was destroying lives. When she was being pulled in 1,000 different directions, that's when things caught up to her and she got beat. She was still destroying lives when she was being pulled in 1,000 directions. But that's the thing. When you're fighting the absolute best in the world, eventually you're going to get knocked off. You're going to get beat, especially when you're not able to put 100% of your time and effort and energy into training, into getting into fighting, and it's going to happen. I'm not trying to take anything away from Holly Holm, and I'm sorry I forgot the other woman's name, but the two losses, the 2 women that beat Ronda, I don't want to take anything away from them. They did what they had to do. They had the right game plans, and Ronda did not come in with the right game plan, and they beat her. So I'm not trying to take away the win, their wins or anything like that. But that's the thing. You can look and see, there are reasons why to justify why Ronda lost. And, it's not like she was 100% focused on fighting and eventually people caught up with her and she just wasn't good enough anymore. She just was not focused 100% on fighting, and eventually that will catch up to you, especially when you're fighting the absolute best in the world every single time you fight. So to me, I think she needs to put that as part of her rhetoric when she's cutting her promos. Just tell everyone, when I was focused 100% on fighting, I kicked all your asses and destroyed all your lives. When I was being pulled in all directions, I still kicked all your asses and destroyed your lives. But eventually, yeah, okay, I got caught. But now I'm in the WWE, and none of you are going to touch me. None of you are better than me, and anybody from the WWE or MMA that wants to come try me, you can come step up, and it will be the exact same. It'll be the exact same outcome. I will destroy your life, and I will walk out as the women's champion. And I just think that needs to be her. That needs to be her attitude 100% coming in, because I just don't think she's going to be able to be that baby face that they might want her to be yet. I think she has to go through a heel run to get those feelings, get the feelings of negativity out of people's systems, and you can build that emotional connection, and that way, people will cheer for her when the time is right. But I think the time is right. I think it's the right call right now to make her a heel, and just to make her that Shawn Michaels type of DX type of heel. It would be great for her to have a Triple H to second her and to kind of tee her up with things. Who's the icon, and Shayna Baszler would be perfect, but I'm sure eventually it'll happen. But it seems like Shayna's, she's really doing well, really improving in NXT. So it's probably a good idea for her to keep sticking it out there until she's at the point where she's going to move up. But even bringing anybody just to stand behind her as a Diesel type of bodyguard, so that she has some credibility when she's talking or making threats, or somebody to stand behind her and step in front of her and do the dirty work, so fans just puts even more heat on her heel run. So I think she needs as much of an entourage around her as possible. People that do everything for her, that everyone that tells her how great she is, and it's just that's the thing that's gonna piss people off, to see her, to thinking that she's so great, she needs all these people around her, and that all these people do everything for her. It's just gonna piss people off and really help with that heel persona, and just so. To me, Ronda Rousey needs to become walking out every night like Mike Tyson did on Raw, with that big entourage, and then she could talk and say whatever she wants and be that cocky, arrogant heel that everyone's just going to hate, and pay money to see her get her ass kicked and people shut her up. And that's what the goal is with any heel. So I really think they need to strike now and make her a heel. But however, I do think that if they're really insistent on trying to make her a babyface, and just if that's the direction they're going, no matter what, I think there's a couple different routes they could go that might be able to get her into the babyface role, because the rumors say that the plans for the match at WrestleMania, they want it to be Ronda and a partner versus Triple H and Steph. And it would kind of be hard to do that as a heel, because it'd be interesting to try and make Triple H and Steph the baby faces in that, and have Ronda be the heel. I think they definitely could do it. This way they can do it, putting Kurt Angle as Ronda's partner. Just maybe have Ronda come out for the contract signing and say, I'm not signing this till I'm guaranteed a title shot. And Triple H and Steph will get mad and say she already agreed, she needs to sign, she has to work her way up like everyone else. She can say, I'm Ronda Rousey, I'm not working anything. You should just give me the title because I'm the best. I'll destroy any of these women, but I'm not signing this contract till I get a title shot. And you could have Kurt Angle try and scramble and just agree to it and give her a title shot, and that would piss off Triple H and Steph, making them kind of making Triple H and Stephanie the baby faces, and then putting Kurt Angle and Ronda into the kind of the heel roles. I mean, if that's a tag match they want, I think it'd kind of be tough to make Ronda a heel and still do that, but that's kind of one of the ways I thought they could do it. But if they really want to make her a face, and one of the things that's been thrown around is that they're trying to get The Rock to be able to come in and be her partner. And that is one of the ways that I think they could make her a successful babyface, because she, the interaction with The Rock and Triple H and Steph at WrestleMania 31 was really a great thing for her. Fans went nuts when they showed her on screen. So if she has that association with The Rock, I think that could be the thing that gets her past the negativity and makes fans want to cheer for her and get behind her, and really helps give momentum to her babyface run going forward after WrestleMania. But The Rock, I think, is one of the only ways to kind of get to change the change the feelings of the fans from negative to positive. So, but it seems like it's a long shot. They're going to be able to get Rock to be able to be insured and to be able to do this match. So it seems unlikely that The Rock will be her partner. One guy I think that is also could be a potential to be her partner and to help her be a babyface is Braun Strowman. Now, if they're not going to do Braun and Brock for the title at WrestleMania, Braun needs to be in a big, high-profile match to help him get to that next level that he's ready to get to and he needs to get to. And being Ronda's partner would definitely be that big match spot. And with how popular he is right now, I think that he might be able his popularity might be able to do the same thing that The Rock could do for Ronda Rousey and help change that fan support from negative to positive. Even though it might probably not on the same level as The Rock, but I think that he's still popular enough to where an association with him and Ronda would help keep the boos away from her and help people stay cheering her. Plus, they did they had the conversation with Braun and Triple H at the Survivor Series, so there's a story in it there. And but I just think that if Braun is not going to get the title shot at WrestleMania, then you got to put him in a big match. And if you want Ronda to be a face, then having Braun be her tag team partner could be a good way to do it. But that kind of brings me to my end talking about the Ronda Rousey. It's interesting to see which way they're going to go. Are they going to try to make her a babyface or a heel? These contract signings never go down without any drama, so it's excuse me, sorry. It's going to be interesting to see, what happens, and I'm really looking forward to see the direction they go. So my eyes are going to be glued to this segment when it's on, and I think they're going to do something to get people talking to really heat up the road to WrestleMania. So that kind of brings me to the end of talking about the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view for tonight. Should be a really good show. It sucks that tickets have been slow moving, but hopefully there's a big walk up today, and hopefully people show up for it and create a really hot, intense atmosphere, because that's what makes these pay-per-views and matches the best, and that's what all the wrestlers, male and female, deserve tonight. So hopefully the fans show up and make it a good show. I definitely think it's going to be either way, but you definitely need the fans, but we should be in for a really good show. And now I just want to talk about a few other random thoughts before I finish up. The first random thought I want to talk about is Rusev Day. And now I really have, this is another hill that I hope somebody close to Vince McMahon puts out there, another hill that they are willing to die on, and that is Rusev winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal at WrestleMania. Because, man, with how hot the Rusev Day stuff is right now, you just can't waste him in a throwaway nothing match. Rusev deserves to be in a spotlighted, big profile match at WrestleMania, and it's clear at this point he's not getting into a title match or any of the other bigger matches. So putting him in the Andre and having him win it would be the perfect vehicle for him going forward into WrestleMania and then out of WrestleMania. Because that's the thing, this year with the HBO documentary coming out, there's going to be a lot more mainstream eyes and attention on Andre the Giant and on the Andre, the Battle Royal. So, and I'm sure HBO and Bill Simmons would really appreciate WWE making the Andre as big as possible and making the winner as big as possible. And it's just, to me, there's no better choice to win it than Rusev, because you can have Aiden and Rusev talking about it on TV leading up to it. Like, don't just make it some random thing where Rusev is just randomly in the Battle Royal and wins it. Like, build it up on TV so that Rusev is for weeks and weeks is saying, I'm going to WrestleMania, I'm going to win the Andre. And, that, and it'll just it won't take attention away from the big matches. It's not going to hurt any of the main event matches, but it will create another match and moment that makes people want to tune into the show, makes people want to get a network subscription so they can see Rusev, take all this momentum to the biggest show of the year and have a really great moment. And it's not something to where you have him build it up and then he loses. It's like that's what they did to Alberto Del Rio, and he never recovered from it. Totally killed his character and the potential that he could have for his career. I mean, he built up the whole start of Alberto Del Rio's career was built up on his destiny being going to WrestleMania and winning the World Championship at WrestleMania. He did everything that he had to do to get there and then lost at the big moment. So, I mean, and then to a guy that would retire a week or two later, like that still bugs me to this day. I was a big fan of the Alberto Del Rio character initially, and I just thought they totally destroyed all potential they had with him by having him lose at his moment of destiny. So, but that is not the thing to do here with Rusev. You build it up, and then even though you're building it up and it almost seems predictable, it's still the thing to do because it would be such a great moment. It would really help Rusev and give him some momentum going forward. And he hasn't been on SmackDown the last 2 weeks. He's been doing jobs. Like it seems like they're trying to kill this. And at the very least, they're not trying to push it forward and do the most they can with it. So I really, really, really hope that somebody goes to bat for Rusev to win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. And here is the most important thing. Here is the biggest reason why Rusev should win that Battle Royal, should win the Andre at WrestleMania. It's because this year, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal falls on Rusev Day. Like, how perfect is that? So, it would be... There's no better moment than you would create such an amazing moment to have 70,000 people on their feet going nuts as Rusev is standing in the ring as the winner of the Andre with 70,000 plus chanting Rusev Day, Rusev Day, Rusev Day. Like that is just a moment that you just can't deny it. And it would create a lot more. It would create a lot more publicity for the Andre documentary. It would put the mainstream eyes that are focused on the Andre documentary will probably be interested to see what happens in the Andre Battle Royal at WrestleMania. So he'll get some mainstream attention with that way. And it's just, to me, with all the Rusev Day stuff, like he's just one of the hottest guys in the company as far as getting arena reactions. He's selling Rusev Day merch. He's great in the ring. He can deliver great matches. He's been in the company for a few years now. He deserves to finally be given an opportunity to push up to this next level. And if you really go all the way with this Rusev Day, winning the Andre at WrestleMania on Rusev Day and everything, and you really promote that moment of 70,000 people cheering for Rusev as he's standing in the ring as the winner of the Andre, like you could have a chance to almost put Rusev into that, another John Cena. Put him into that level without even having him in the main events and without taking anything away from your main events. It's just putting time and effort and attention into this, into building up, Rusev going into the Andre and winning it, then having him win it and coming out of WrestleMania. I mean, that could be momentum that could carry him into SummerSlam, and he could be whoever's the champion, Rusev versus the champion at SummerSlam. Like, it's just, I think there's so much better stories, and you just have so much more potential if you just really put some time and effort into, promoting Rusev as the winner of this Battle Royal and, going hard with it. Because it's not going to take away from your main events. All it's going to do is lift up another one of your stars that has a chance to make some money for the company. And this Rusev Day thing came out of nowhere. It's so much fun. It's awesome and fun to pretend that every day is Rusev Day and to pull out that joke. It's just such a great thing. I don't want to see it wasted. I don't want to see it not get to the level it could be. So I really hope somebody goes to bat for Rusev and just puts it out there that he needs to be the winner of the Andre this year, because it will be it'll be one of the most amazing moments ever in WrestleMania history, and it will be one of those ones that's truly organic and built up the right way. So just Rusev winning the Andre on Rusev Day, please. And now I gotta mention 205 Live and how awesome the show has been in the last few weeks. And really, since they started the Cruiserweight tournament, the 205 Live has been just has been the show that we've all wanted it to be. They're starting to have the matches that we all want to see, and gotta specifically mention Drew Gulak and Tony Nese. Man, they had a really awesome match that was totally different between the matches that you normally call awesome. Like it wasn't a near fall fest or anything like that. It was really a different. Both guys trying to just hit each other as hard as they can until one guy got the upper hand and just completely brutalized the other until finally he had nothing left. There was no life, just completely all the life and fight had been knocked out of his body, and just a really great job by both guys. Tony Nese was an awesome sell job. Like, you're just getting concerned for him. It's like, it was just great job by Tony Nese, a great job by Drew Gulak. I'm really excited to see the killer coming back out of Drew. It was awesome to see the other half of his personality, the fun side of it, and just see how, to see that part of his personality come out. But, the thing that made me a fan of Drew Gulak right off the bat in the Cruiserweight tournament was just how intense and crazy he was, and just how much of a killer he looked like in that ring. So I'm really excited to see that coming out of him. Him and Tony Nese had an awesome match in the tournament. Another awesome match I got to specifically mention, Kalisto and Lince Dorado. These lucha guys have probably just been going insane, having to hold themselves back from what they can do, and we finally started to see some of that in this match. It was an awesome match, probably the best of the tournament, which is saying something, because every match was great. But it's just these lucha guys are really going to turn up the level of competition in 205 Live, especially now that they're letting them really kind of take the handcuffs off and do everything that they can do. So I'm really looking forward to seeing all the action that these guys are going to be putting out. And I got to mention, finally saw the debut of Buddy Murphy. He had a really good match, and man, what an awesome finisher he's got. Didn't even really know what was going on. It was kind of a pump handle into something else. It was, that's what you need. You need an awesome finisher, and he's definitely got one. And he can hit it on anybody in the Cruiserweight division for sure. So, it should be a good run on 205 Live for Buddy Murphy. Definitely nice to see him finally show up. And I'm just really looking forward to seeing how good 205 Live is going to get, because now that it seems to be focused on match quality instead of the other extracurricular stuff, like now this show is going to be what everybody always wanted it to be and what we all thought it could be. And it's I've started to see people. I've seen people start to say that they're starting to look forward to 205 Live more than SmackDown. So. And that's because of how awesome the action is on 205 Live, and 205 Live is exclusively on the network. So the fact that people are starting to enjoy it more than SmackDown is going to drive eyes to the network, which is what you need. So it's awesome to see the direction they're going in, and I can't wait to see how much better this division and show is going to get. And so now I have got to mention something, like who in the company just figured out how to do these live word graphics on promos and stuff. Like, my God, make it stop, please, because it's so typical of what they always do. It's like I thought that those were cool for the mixed match challenge. I thought it added a little bit of a difference to make it seem different than the main shows. I thought it was a cool little twist for the mixed match challenge, but of course, like with everything, they just got to take something good and beat it into the ground and just do it. Just overexpose the crap out of it. Like, that's what they're already doing. Like, now these stupid word graphics are all over SmackDown, all over all TV. It's like, could you just make it stop? And just because you do something good once doesn't mean you have to put it out there as much as possible. It's like the Matt Hardy laugh. He did it once. It was funny. Everyone laughed. And so what do they do for the next few weeks? Focus only on that. It's only the laugh. Just because the good thing happens doesn't mean you have to just overexpose the crap out of it. Like, just leave it, have it be a special thing for the mixed match challenge. bring it out at certain times to keep it special, but my God, make it stop, because I'm already sick of seeing those stupid live word graphics on the screen. So I had to mention that. The last thing I want to mention is, I don't want to kind of leave it on a negative note, but I got to mention this. I was reading something, I saw Stephanie McMahon say that WWE is seeing themselves as Disney and the Disney model right now, and to me that just was very scary to hear them say that, because right now Disney cannot produce new original content to save their life. They're just buying up established products and squeezing every single drop they can out of it. And that is the last thing that WWE needs to be modeling themselves over, because they are... See, I would be happier to hear Stephanie say that they're closer to a Netflix model, because that is closer to where WWE is. See, they're like, that's the thing. Disney can buy up all this established content, and they can squeeze every drop of it, and they're gonna make a lot of money. Like, they paid a lot of money for Star Wars, but they've already easily made their investment back plus more, and so it's gonna make a lot of money for the company. WWE does not have that luxury. The established products that they can buy, like those are the equivalent of that in wrestling is the part-time stars, and these big stars that like they were in that aren't around as much that you can bring back. Those unfortunately Father Time is catches up with everybody, and we're running out of those part-time stars you can rely on. You're running out on those stars you can bring back that have a big impact. So that established content, buying established content model that Disney is into, I don't think that would even come close to working for WWE. But why I think that they're closer to the Netflix model is because if you look at Netflix, you have all these companies pulling their established content from Netflix, and now Netflix is in a position where they really have to rely on their new original content to keep subscriptions and to bring up subscriptions, and that's why they're not just giving one person an opportunity to create content on their Netflix. They're giving multiple people opportunities to create content, and they're not putting their eggs in one basket. They're giving 5-10 different people chances to make new shows and to do movies and stuff, and to try and create that original content that people can't take away, and that will keep viewers and will bring viewers back. And that's what WWE needs to be focused on. They need to be focused on making new original stars that they can rely on. That's why I said before, in 2018, you don't need one John Cena, you need 5 John Cenas, you need 10 John Cenas. You have so much content, there's so much of a reach of the product that it's just not something one guy can carry. You need more than one guy to be able to carry it. And that's why, that's why it kind of scares me to hear them say that, they like the Disney model and stuff, because that's not where Disney is at right now, but it's where WWE needs to be at. Like, they need to be trying to do new original stories. They can't just be relying on the same things that have worked. Because it's clear, they can't sell tickets in a fight in basically the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, and their network subscriptions have actually regressed. There's no excuse for that, especially with the resources that they have. The network should be so much more than it is. They just have the wrong ideas for the original content that they're creating. The original content they're creating doesn't seem to be geared towards bringing in new subscriptions to the network. It doesn't seem like it's even close to the right kind of content that would bring in new subscriptions to the network. It seems like content that people that buy the network are already going to enjoy. So while that is a good thing, you need to be creating stuff you need to be creating stuff that's going to bring in people that bring in new network subscriptions. And they can't just rely on the current product to do it. I mean, it's clear that they are not, with the way that they are approaching the current product right now, it's not the best case scenario. They're not doing things the exact right way because they're having trouble moving tickets. SmackDown can't move tickets, so they have to combine the pay-per-views now with the network subscriptions. It's just like their current direction for the actual WWE product is not where it needs to be, because it is not registering like it needs to. So they can't be relying on their current product to bring in subscribers, because it's just they need to improve the current product before they're going to bring in new subscriptions. And but that's where the original content comes in. You could easily, with the resources and the everything, all the production values that WWE has, you could easily be creating content that does not rely on on the current product, that brings in new subscriptions on its own, WWE Network should easily be at 2 million subscribers. They're not up at 3, because if they were putting out the right shows and the right original content on the network, they'd be bringing in the new subscribers that wouldn't even be looking at the current product. Obviously you want people that are like watching your original network shows and watching the current product, but it's not going to be everybody. You're going to have a section of people that only watch, a certain show on the network. You're going to have a certain group of people that only watch the WWE product. They're not going to come come to the network to watch these original shows. So it's like, it's just they have to be, their creativity for original network shows has to be better, and their format and the direction for the WWE product has to change as well, because clearly it's not working on the level it needs to, and things are regressing, and it's just something needs to change. I really feel like I've 100% figured out the proper format to bring to sell wrestling to people now and into the future, and to put it on to a level into a conversation with other sports like football and stuff like that. I truly believe that wrestling has a place at much higher level than it is right now. But the way you approach the product has to be different, and it has to change from what it is right now. And I believe I figured out the idea for it, but I'm certainly not putting that out there until I'm doing my own thing or I'm on the right team. But WWE the evidence is there. It's not just me saying this and not enjoying it. Like, the evidence is there that how they're approaching and the direction that they have for the current product is not working. It's not the best version of itself. So, that's what Vince McMahon used to be the best at, and that's what the people that are most successful are the ones that can take a step back and go, you know what? Even though I'm wanting to do it this way, it's not working, and I need to look at the facts, and I need to look at everything and just make a decision and make a change make a good informed change to the positive. And see, that's like right now you just need to look at WWE product and realize it's not where it needs to be. The direction's not where it needs to be. It's not having the impact it needs to, and things need to change. And WWE is such a big product. There's so many lives involved in it. You can't just change everything. I mean, there's so many little things that you don't think about when you're just saying, oh, do this or do that. Like, I realize that it's not just an overnight snap your fingers and we just do this. You have to make sure all the checks and balances are in place, that you do everything to make sure that if you do a change, you're not going to regress even further than you were before. But I just think that we're at the point now where you're going to keep regressing if you don't change. So you have to just take the time and effort to do the right thing, to make the right changes, that'll be towards the positive and help you start moving forward instead of regressing. So I think you need to do that with both the WWE product and the network. I think that there's so much potential for both to be on a much higher level than they are. And it's just the network, it's 4-year anniversary of the network. I love the WWE network. I think it's one of the greatest things they've ever done. If you're a wrestling fan, you have to have the network, because especially with all the classic content they're uploading, and it's just there's so much for you to explore on the network. It's just, and the original shows that they've done, even though might not be exactly what they need to bring new network subscribers, they're really enjoyable for people that already have it. I love lots of the new one they did, WWE Photo Shoot. That's got to be a very low cost to produce, but it's so much entertainment, because hearing these actual guys talk about the pictures and see they get memories that they haven't had in a long time, and it's just really, really interesting and really low cost. So it's like things like that they need to be doing more of, but at the same time, things like that aren't necessarily going to bring in subscriptions that aren't interested in the WWE product or aren't currently subscribing, like things like that. So they definitely need to be doing more shows like that, but they need to be creating things specifically to bring in new viewers, and there's so much potential with the network. You know, they got a great talent like Renee Young just sitting there not doing anything. And I mean, I got so many ideas for shows that she would be the basis of to help bring in these other viewers that don't normally watch. And she's the perfect kind of person. She has the kind of charisma and is the kind of talent that, you know, people like to watch her, and she's easy to watch and easy to listen to. So it's like, you know, if you put her in the right spot, she's going to be able to bring in new subscriptions and really, you know, do a great job at delivering a great product for the network. But I just think that there's a lot of missed potential right now with the network, and I think that it's, you know, the time is now for them to take a look at the way they're doing things, and, you know, like don't be at the Disney model. I mean, I really hope they stay away from the Disney model and be more towards the Netflix and try and create new original stars and stories and content that gets to the point where, you know, 10 years down the road, you got 5 or 10 guys that now can be considered part-timers, and they can come back and make an impact. And, you know, and then you start building 10 more guys from that level. And now, you know, in a few years' time, you got 20 guys that you could bring in. So it's like but they have to start building the foundation for the future. And, you know, like relying on established content and established cars is just established stars is going to be a thing from the past, and it's going to be something that's going to cause the company to keep going downhill. And I want to see the best version of WWE. I want to see the best version of WWE Network. So I'm not trying to criticize just to be negative, but when I'm criticizing, I do it because I just want the best possible WWE product. And, you know, I've lived, breathed and slept wrestling my whole life. I've studied it. I've just been a crazy wrestling fan my whole life, and I want to see the best version of it. And there's no better time than being entertained and being having happiness created by a great wrestling moment. And there's no better feeling, no better time or place. And I love wrestling so much, so I'm not trying to criticize from a place of just being negative. I really want WWE and the WWE Network to be the best version of itself, and I really think they need to kind of look at how they're doing things, and look at their approach to things, and, you know, make some changes. But that is going to bring me to the end. I know I went really, really long, but you know, when I get talking about wrestling, I can talk for hours, and, you know, sometimes I just can't help myself with talking. But I think I hit on everything I wanted to talk about. You know, it's going to be a great pay-per-view tonight. Hopefully everyone enjoys it. And as always, if you have any comments or questions, just leave a comment below, or get at me on Twitter at Iceman Caesar. Thanks everyone for coming along for the ride. We'll see you soon down the road. Much love and God bless. Peace.